Bom dia, bonjour, guten Morgen, good morning. Hoje vamos falar em inglês. O meu nome é Ana Moreira, para aqueles que não sabem, já todos sabem, já se tornou um clichê. Hoje vou ter um convidado muito especial e vamos falar em inglês. Para aqueles que não sabem inglês, vão ter que depois fazer essa subtitulação. Convidamos o Amir. O Amir é um coach australiano que se tem dedicado a ensinar às pessoas como é que elas podem viver melhor, e isso faz parte também da minha filosofia. Portanto, é com muito prazer que eu vou convidar o Amir para estar aqui presente. Amir, good morning. Are you there? Ele vai contar a história dele, que é muito interessante. Ele vem a Portugal no dia 14 de outubro e, portanto, lançou-nos aqui um desafio. Good
How are you?
morning!
Good morning to you. Well, it's actually good evening here.
Yes.
It's both tarde
For
in Australia.
for you, it's good evening.
Yes.
You put me to make a live stream in the morning. I have never done it in Portugal, so thank you, Amir.
Well, thank you. It's actually it's prime time here for Australia, but I appreciate you doing a live with me at 9 a.m. on a Sunday in Portugal. So yeah, appreciate it.
I was telling the public that I felt when they asked me if I want to help spreading your message in Portugal, it was very easy to me because I think I talk the same, or yes, I'm younger, so I talk the same. So I think so. I don't know. Now I'm not going to ask your age, so that I don't have to say my age.
Well, you look younger, that's for sure. So I'm definitely aging. Look, I've got a few white hairs coming through. I'm 44 this year. No, 45 this year. I lost count now. So.
Okay. So I'm 1 year older. So let us stay. So you are telling the same things that I said. So okay.
Yeah.
But in a different continent, So.
Yeah, look, I think we talk the same. You know, love has the same language, doesn't it? You know, we may express it differently. You're speaking Portuguese, I'm speaking in English, but love at the end of the day is the same. Just there's only one language of love.
Correct. So, Amir, thank you very much for being here with me and being with all the people that follow me and all the people that are following you and are listening to us. I would like you to start telling us, well, I have said that you come to Portugal in October 14 to Lisbon, although the coming to Oporto is a state, but I'm trying to convince you to come to Oporto. I've already done that, and I would like you to start telling us how do you start this journey? I think there's a question that everyone asks us, so tell us a little bit about it.
I started when I was 10, 12 years of age. I've always been a inquisitive person. I've always been a truth seeker. And when I finished high school, I ended up getting into small businesses, and I also got into a promotion company, which I would work with motivational speakers. So, you know, companies that would promote people like Tony Robbins. And so I've always been around people who have been had a positive outlook on life. But look, I just got to a point, Anna, where I really wanted to find myself in all the different courses that I've done, because I've done so many courses. You know, I was, you know, I owned my own promotion company, so I got to do all these courses for free, right? But I just came to a point where I thought to myself, I want to be able to live this stuff. I don't want to I don't want to acquire more knowledge. I got to a point where I actually I actually didn't want to do another program. I said to myself, I don't want to do any more programs because until I know I can live this for myself, then I'm done. And people always say knowledge is power. My perception of that is not knowledge, it's power, it's wisdom. And wisdom is when you've had a direct experience of what you once knew, your knowledge. You know, knowledge is not power on its own. So look, I got to a point where I started to speak myself. I took a couple of years off. I sold my company, and everything that I share today is all about, you know, it's not like what I'm sharing is maybe different. I mean, I say things differently, but it's the question that I always have for people, because some people go, yeah, I know this, I know that, I know. And the question is, can you live it? Because that's what started for me. And I thought to myself, yeah, but I know we're meant to follow our hearts. I know we're meant to do what we love. I know we're meant to trust our intuition. And when life is favorable to us, it's somewhat easy to do that. But it's when life is not favorable, you know, things are not, you know, the ducks are not all lined up for us. That's when it matters most. And that's where people fail to actually do the things that they know they need to do. In order to be happy, of course, you got to follow your heart. You know, it's so simple. In order to be happy, of course, you need to be yourself. But when life is not favorable, that's where people fail in being themselves. That's where people fail to follow their heart. Not everyone, but often many people do.
So we could say that live the experience.
Yes.
It's a better way of doing it, so that when we really need it, because my father died, or I got divorced, or I got fired, I have the ability and the memory of how can I get out of it and be better. Would we say this?
Yes. Good. Yeah, I think that's when it really matters for you to go to yourself, go to your heart, you know, where the world outside of us sometimes becomes dark. You know, to me, that's an opportunity for you to not, you know, react, but actually get present with yourself and find your own light, right? And when you find your own light, you illuminate the world. You're not expecting the world to do things for you. You're not expecting the world or your relationship to make you happy. You know, that's what I mean by, because our expectation is for the world to make us happy, the world, you know, to make us comfortable. But sometimes when the world becomes dark, that's your opportunity right there to find your own light, your own power. That's what we're talking about. Finding your own light is your own power.
Yes, that's very interesting, because one of the lectures I love to give the most is a lecture on love.
Yeah.
So people get divorced, people seem not to find the right one. And one of the things I always say is that be a light. So the translation to Portuguese is be your own light, so that you can attract more the other supposedly lights. So it's very interesting. And another interesting point I would say in your speech, that we should do this while we are in better conditions. I mean, we don't have to expect that our father die or that we get divorced so that we can learn what you are talking, right?
Yeah, well, we don't have to wait until the world is falling apart. You know, the floor disappears from our life. Sometimes there's different things that happen in our life. You know, they say that usually the signpost comes in, you know, heavier and heavier every time. Sometimes you get a tug with your heart, you don't follow it, but then next time you get a slap, you know, and then you're like, oh, and you still don't listen to it. And then next time a brick hits your face. You know what I mean? Like you hit your head against the wall. And sometimes it takes people to have a dramatic experience. You know, maybe they get sick, you know, end up in hospital, or they lose someone before they actually start to reflect, you know, and connect with themselves deeper. So, you know, no, you don't have to wait until that happens. And but unfortunately, that's how it works. Our mental our psyche as a human being, we wait until the last minute for all things, you know, sometimes. So doesn't have to be that way though.
Yes, I believe exactly the same. So,
Yeah.
so that people can know you a little bit, the people from this side of the of the world,
Yeah.
be more acquaintance of you. I know that you have an app, so I
Yeah.
want to talk about it so that um, Portuguese people and Spanish people here on the side can know you a little better and want to know you better in
Yeah.
October 14. That's one thing I wanted to talk. And the other thing I would like you to talk is if you can tell our audience this Sunday 2 or 3 things that can help us want to go there and give you a hug on October 14th.
Well, that's cool. Well, look, I would say first of all, yes, I'm doing a tour around 3 corners of the world. So I'm starting on July 1 in Sydney. The event is a full-day event. It's called Limitless, and really it's about creating that limitless mindset, which is basically becoming the greatest version of yourself. Okay, so yeah, I started in Sydney on July 1. July 15th, I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm really excited to be in Lisbon, Portugal. I was actually in Lisbon just a few months ago for a keynote talk that I did there, and it was my first time in Portugal. So after that, I was like, we got to go back to Portugal. Such a beautiful country, such beautiful food, such beautiful culture, beautiful people. So I was really inspired to book that in. So yeah, October 14th. I'm coming to Lisbon, Portugal to run the same event. Now, obviously, most people don't know who I am. So what I'd love to do is give everyone a gift of mine, a product that I just recorded just very recently, only about a few weeks ago. It's called the Intuitive Warrior, and I'm going to give everyone a free copy of that. But the Intuitive Warrior is all about learning the 3 reasons why people fail in actually using their intuition. So because to actually be able to strengthen your intuitive abilities, I think it's our intuitive abilities is innate in all of us.
Mhm.
But we get things that we build patterns or beliefs or blockages that become that create a hurdle between us and our intuition. So in that Intuitive Warrior, I give the 3 reasons why people fail to use their intuition. So if you can remove those blockages, intuition is going to be innate. It's just going to be more natural. So to get that Intuitive Warrior free download, all you got to do is there's a link in my bio. So if people are following me on Instagram, if you go to my bio, there's a link in there that will allow you to download my coaching app. The coaching app is just called Amir Zoghi. So if you go download the Amir Zoghi coaching app, which you can go find the link in my bio for, you'll get that Intuitive Warrior product there free. So anyone can go listen to that and strengthen your intuitive abilities. Look, you know, at the end of my talks, we're always hugging. You know, it's such a special event. It's such a special moment. This event, this program that I run, and it's just like I said. You know, we all speak the same language. You know, the language that matters is the language of love. So when I'm speaking to people, I actually tell them, don't try to analyze what I'm saying. Don't try to fit it into a box of your existing point of reality. Because for me, I'm trying to take them out of their box, you know? So, and in order to do that, I get people not to connect to what I'm saying, but instead connect to the space where the words are forming from. Because where the words are forming from, we're all one, you know? And that's where people, when they have a direct experience of that, that's where it becomes your wisdom, you know, because a lot of these things we read in books, we hear people talk about it in the seminars, and we resonate with it. But when we walk away from the seminar or when we close the book, we can't apply it, we can't live it. So for me, I've always been dedicated to run a seminar, an experience, right? I mean, you call it a seminar, but for me, it's actually an experience in order for them to have a direct experience of the greatest version of themselves. Because if you have a direct experience of that, you feel it. Like, people will feel that at their events. So, after the event, there's nothing to do but to hug. So we will hug. Don't worry about that.
Good.
So I'm just hoping I can get you there, Anna.
Well, you are trying.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. We have to catch up, right? Like, it's if you don't come there, I'm going to come and meet with you, and we'll have a lunch or dinner.
We are. I can tell to the people that are listening to us is that we are trying to make you come to Oporto and make a short seminar, like an evening seminar, so that people from here can listen to you and they want to live the one-day experience. But one day we should do a all-week retreat seminar, right, Amir?
Well, you know what? I was actually just talking with my team about, because I run many retreats. I run in Australia. I'm actually running a retreat in Portugal the week after, for 7 days, the week after my event in October 14th. But that retreat is already sold out. It's an exclusive retreat. It's already sold out. So I actually spoke to my team about potentially booking another retreat in Portugal, maybe in March, because I have a lot of coaching clients all around Europe. And yeah, so I think we're looking at doing that. But I would love to come to Oporto and do a talk with you. Maybe you and I can do a talk one evening. I would change my flights and come there earlier to do that. I would do that. Let's organize that, and then from there, people can, if they wish to, they could come to the actual full day on the 14th.
That's the thing that's very easier for me to accomplish with you, Amir, is that I believe exactly the same. Because what I notice, for people from you that doesn't know me, I'm a doctor. I'm a medical doctor working in integrative and functional medicine. And one of the things I notice the most with patients is that when something happens, it's like we cannot use all of our strength. It's like we can be happy if our kids are okay, if our husband is okay, if our job is okay, if we have a good house, if we have money. And what I believe is a belief more than a knowledge. What I believe is that we have this, I don't know if you can call it strength or essence or light, whatever, and we have to put it in movement. When you put it in movement, you somehow, the thing called memory will notice that and will return to that state more often. If you have that, it is a little bit like you said, because what you said is that we should have the experience, although of course knowledge is important, but as you have the experience, it's easier to live in that state, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I totally resonate with what you're saying, because to me, that's how you create a flow state. You have a feeling or an instinct, right? And it's responding or acting, applying that feeling. And sometimes you don't know why you're following the feeling. You don't know what it's going to, but it's in the motion of acting on that feeling that it lines things up for you, So to me, that's how you get into a flow state.
Yeah, but that's very interesting, because the science explains that in a scientific manner now. That's telling very, very interesting, because it will record a memory, and we want to return to that memory. Whatever you call the essence, the light, whatever, want to return to that memory, and that memory will bring us this state where we should, I believe what you say. I always say to people that say that they cannot fall in love, that men are a big shit, and you know that talk, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have heard that talk. And
Yes, yeah.
I always say, especially women, I do a lot of speeches to the side of the world, and I say, what are you doing to be better? What is your curricula? Because
Yeah,
something we are not doing right. And
yeah,
very interesting, because when you say that we can put love in movement, that is what intuition is called. Doctors know they should follow the intuition, although then the book say that we should follow protocol. But I
yeah.
say that we should follow intuition. So normal, regular people say. And I think it's very important what you are saying in this moment of the world, because we have been closed up for about 2 years because of the pandemic situation. And the young women and men that are living out of their 20s
Yeah.
are out of their intuition completely, because of the social media. I mean, social media are perfect. That's why here you are in Australia, I am in Ohio.
Yeah.
But I would like for you to talk a little bit to these younger, not so wisdom person, because they have not the age and haven't put in movement, but they have to know that social media are okay, but we have to live the life.
So you're talking about the message I would have for the younger generation.
And
So we're talking about like teenagers or young adults or
I would say that when you go to your 20s,
yeah,
now what I've acknowledged and what I diagnosed is that
yeah.
younger people are lost than what I would say that our generation was lost. In a sense that we had books, and that because when you read a book, you take time to acknowledge. When we
Yeah,
go to a seminar, we will live the experience and will hug and probably cry also.
yeah, yeah,
But that's the experience. When you are
yeah,
media, it's very quick. You scroll up, it's very quick. You don't get to it.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Well, look, my message for the younger people is that if you're feeling disconnected at any point, it's purely because the biggest thing that drives a wedge between you and who you truly are is when you start to compare yourself with other people. Social media doesn't help with that, because we're sitting there scrolling and we're comparing ourselves with not the greatest version of the person, but a perception of the happiest version of them, which is not always, we always post the most happiest things. And then
yes,
what people do is they compare themselves to that. So that's the biggest thing that creates a wedge between you and the greatest version of yourself, you and your true self. So the biggest advice I would have, especially for the younger people, and this advice is it's generic for everyone, but especially for the younger people, is don't compare yourself with anyone else. And the other thing is that this one advice I spoke to you about this the other day. One advice that people always ask me, they go like, "Oh, what's the biggest advice or the best advice you can give to people?" And I always say it's the best advice is the advice that we often give to the people that we most care about. And that advice is to be yourself and do what you love to do. Sometimes in society, we're not even doing what we love to do because we think, well, I need to do this in order to fit in. I need to do this sometimes just to get our parents' approval even, So it's like, but what's in your heart? What do you love to do? And that's the most important thing. It's an advice that most people, it doesn't matter what your culture is, it's be yourself, do what you love to do, but it's the advice that's least taken. It's the
yes,
advice, we're all happy to give that advice, but we're not all happy to follow that advice, because when things get tough, right, or when people don't approve of us, when people don't accept us, or when people reject us, we change ourselves. We don't become our true selves. We often let go of what's in our hearts. We often let go of doing what we love to do. And that's what we're here to do.
Yes.
You know, what you love to do is what you're here to do.
Yes.
So that's the biggest advice I would give, you know, to the young people, but I'm sure the older people would resonate with that as well.
The older people would serve better, because we have learned in a generation to be approved, to be approved, and this sometimes make us out of the road that we dream. One question that I like to do is, what was your childhood dream? Because the childhood dream, the younger dream of ourselves that we had, in a sense, could be accomplished if we can. And I really like the state, don't compare yourself, because when I started doing lectures, I noticed something very curious. People come in the end and did not say it was good, it was bad, whatever, said, oh, you bring that dress, doesn't fit you. Oh, you bring that shoes, doesn't fit you. And I said, fuck you. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about? So it's because we make comparisons and say that I should have that dress and I should have that glass, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, because we live in a society that we are always saying that the other made it wrong and shouldn't do that and shouldn't dress like that. And I like that advice very much. And one important thing for me is that first, when you make comparisons, how do you say
comparison?
You lose your own joy,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you cannot be the other person. You lose your own joy when you try to do that. And the other thing is that we really don't know what that person is passing through. So maybe she's in that state because she's passing through some point of life. So good. I think it's a very good advice, Amir.
When I'm coaching someone and I take them through a journey back to themselves, back to the greatest version of themselves, right? The first thing that I do is I bring all their attention back to themselves and back to this moment. That your attention does not need to be anywhere outside of that. Maybe momentarily you may reflect on things, you may reflect on the future, you may have a relationship with someone, but I keep bringing their attention back to themselves. So it's like, oh, well, this person made me feel like this. Well, it's not that person. Yes, they played a role in order for you to feel like that. But the reason you felt like that is because you're holding on to that feeling. So sometimes people are angry and they go, oh, this person cut in front of me and they made me angry. And I'm like, if you weren't an angry person, when somebody cut in front of you, you wouldn't get angry. So you've got to understand that person cut in front of you, they played a role in order for you to express your anger, because if you don't express your anger, ultimately what we keep suppressed within us causes depression. Like you need to express it. So they're actually doing you a favor, cutting in front of you, playing a role in order for you to express some of your anger. If you weren't an angry person and you weren't holding on to some anger, that person cutting in front of you wouldn't have made you angry. So it just shows you that it's not what someone else is doing. Someone else is just playing a role for you to experience and express a part of yourself. So in my coaching, I just keep bringing the person's attention back to themselves, because we're very easy to blame someone else, to either or credit someone else. That's what we do. We want to blame them or give credit. So now bring your attention back to yourself, back to this moment.
I always say that the other who is annoying you is a mirror for you, just to pay attention in what you are feeling and in what you are it's in you. It's not in the other. It's in you. So it's very important. And the other thing I would like you to speak about is that in your coaching and in your seminars, a very important thing for me is that we as humanity have lost joy, absolute joy. And I believe that state of joy that is connected to a state of peace that we lost. We are not in peace as humanity. And that is a little bit what you talk, right? I mean, you talk a little bit about this. Like,
I talk about joy and love all the time. The biggest thing about joy or love, real love, right? Which real love feels like joy. I mean, real love is joy. So let's just use that word joy. Is that love or joy doesn't have any reasons. And I often ask people when I'm speaking on stage, who here has ever experienced happiness or joy for no reason, right? And people put their hand up. There's quite often a lot of people who are going, yeah, I've had experience of having happiness or joy for no reason. And that's the thing, because joy doesn't have reasons. It doesn't have a reason of why, you're experiencing joy. It's when you love somebody and you truly love somebody, there's no reason of why you truly love them. You love them because you love them. Now, you might find reasons of why you love them, right? But often
that's a mental state when you find
absolutely
the mental.
Because exactly, and if you go to the mental state and you're looking for reasons of why you love someone, you will also find reasons of why you don't love somebody, because the mental state operates in duality, where love and joy operates in oneness. And that's why there's no reason, because the moment love has a reason, it's two.
Correct.
Love is just one energy. And that's why I keep saying we speak the same language.
Yes, the rational state, the mental state that you talk about, our brain is a left-right situation, is a black-white situation, is a love-hate situation. So I keep on talking about returning to the state of the heart, that you can talk about love or joy, because your heart is an electromagnetic wave. No, I'm a science woman, so I
love that. I love that, because I'm not a science person, so I get excited to have the conversation and then be reflected in science. I love that, So.
I translate you to science.
Please do. I love it.
This electromagnetic field, that when you go to this state of joy, really joy or love, and joy and love really are connected, I think, you can upload your electromagnetic field to 8 meters.
Really? There you go.
It's like a shield that can be just 30 centimeters. If you are fucked off in a shitty way, you can only have this electromagnetic field like this. But when you are really in a joy, love state and enjoyment, enlightenment, peaceful state, you can go up to 8 meters of this shield. So that means that before you get somewhere, you have been there before your physical body got there.
Yeah, it sounds like you're bending time a little bit as well.
And,
it sounds like
something very important, that you are attracting the best to yourself, because you got there first. So if it's not good, you feel intuition of not going. Your intuition got better. Because this shield is a shield of electrons that are flowing with you and connect to you inside, to the cell, because we have this how do you say, highways of information. So gives you the intuition to go or not to go. And that's better when you are in joy and in love and connected to your heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I
you
resonate with that.
know why you sleep better? Because there is a connection to the heart with a gland called pineal gland, epiphysis, that secretes a hormone that makes you sleep better. Only when you are here, not when you are here.
Mm. And it becomes an art, I think. I'm coaching people all the time about this. It becomes an art to stay in here. Like,
Yes.
how do you stay in here, like in your everyday life? Now, yes, bless you. Yes, you're going to go to your head. That's normal. We go to our head to calculate, to project the future, to make plans, whatever. But you want to be operating from your heart, I'm a big believer that, we can live in our everyday lives from our heart. It's not just, when we're loving or when we're in a relationship or when we're reflecting on life. In your everyday life, you can operate from love and joy.
I always say a joke is a little bit bad joke, but it's true in a sense that I'm going to tell you, and you will react to that. We know a man when we divorce, because when everything is okay, it's very easy. But when you are down, when you got fired, when you lose something that you like, whatever, it's very easy to fall apart. So it's when we need this state of joy is when we really forget about it. And as a human species, it's so easy to forget this. But I think that what you talk is very important, because I have the belief that as we most acquaintance to this state, more easy for us is to be in this state.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I always say, the more you're following the feeling, and the feeling could be your intuition, doing what you love to do, joy, they're all the same thing, right? The more you follow the feeling, most people think they're following the feeling because it's going to manifest into an amazing experience in their lives, which it does. Don't get me wrong. When you follow the feeling, I always say that your reality bends around your feeling, right? But the biggest thing I've got from following the feeling is not the results or the outcomes that I've manifested in my life. It's who I've become. Because the more I follow the feeling, the more I become that feeling.
Yes.
And it becomes natural for you to stay in that feeling. Do you understand? It becomes normal for you to operate in your everyday life from that feeling. Does that mean you don't get angry? No, you get angry, but you go back to the feeling.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
When I first started doing this work, I would be angry, or I would be reactive, or I'll be attached, and I'll have a small moment of joy and love, but then I would lose it. But now it's become the opposite. I'm mostly in joy and love, and then I would lose myself because I have a fight with my wife or something, or the kids are doing something and they're being naughty, and I lose myself. But then you find yourself again. You see, yeah. So it becomes your dominant force. Yes. It becomes your dominant nature.
But I think that supposedly the human nature all should be born in that state. Where we fuck up things a little bit is when we are child, because our system of education is by comparison. And so we lose this essence that we all bring, because if you see children in Africa or in India, sometimes we see children with no money, and I look to them and they are happy and they are joyful. So it's for some people it's easier to be in this state. I always remember one occasion when I was driving my car, and I get noticed something I have never noticed. I was driving the car and smiling for no reason, okay? And so I look around around and I see everyone like, you know. So
Yeah.
take that you talk, the joy with no reason is the real essence of our being here in this planet Earth. Because we see, for instance, we see an animal and the animal wants to play with us. And if we don't play with it, with the animal, it will return in half an hour or 1 hour. It's okay. It doesn't get bored. It doesn't get angry with us.
Yeah.
So
It's like water off a duck's back, you know. They don't hold on because animals, you know, they live in the moment, right?
yeah,
But the difference between the animal and us is that we have the ability to become conscious of who we are beyond this physical reality. We have the ability to wake up, where the animal is, you know, for me, they live in the moment, right? And if I guess I look at the animal and wish that we could live in the moment like them, right? But the one thing the animal can't do is recognize who it is. And we can as human beings, but you know, whether we do that, it's up to, you know, the driving force of the individual.
yeah. Amir, we can talk by hours.
I know, I know. I don't want to take up all your Sunday morning, but no, it's been awesome.
It's been awesome, and I think that Portuguese people and people from Spain and from, well, European countries can feel you a little bit on this side when you are coming here. I think that all people should know that you are a great person, in a sense that you are doing a great job. I had to study you in order to interview you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you've gone to all that effort. I appreciate
So,
that.
so it's very easy for me to really feel that you are in the right track, helping people. So it's a real pleasure for me. It's an honor for me to be in this spot, making some questions and making this interview is very important. So, Amir, I
Oh,
don't
thank you.
want to say anything else to our audience and to the people who are going to listen to us all Sunday, and they are sleeping now.
Well, look, if for those who have just joined us, I just wanted to let you know that we have produced a product for you guys to be able to download for free. So if you go to the link in my bio, there's a coaching app. If you go download that coaching app, you can receive my free product, the Intuitive Warrior. If you're on your app right now, you can just go to look up Amir Zoghi and you'll be able to download the app for free, and you'll be able to get that Intuitive Warrior for free. The whole point of the Intuitive Warrior product is for you to realize the 3 reasons why people fail to use their intuition, because I think intuition, as I was saying earlier on, it's innate, it's natural, it's organic for us, but we have blockages between us and our intuition. So I talk about the 3 reasons why people fail to use their intuition, and I also talk about how to strengthen your intuitive abilities. At the end of the day, my final share is, I think one of the most important things that we've spoken about today is just, you know, being yourself and doing what you love to do. And I think until you do that, you're not going to find that joy. You know, it's when you're doing what you love to do and you're being yourself for no reason. Not because it's going to give you more likes, not because it's going to get people to approve of you, not because it's going to get people to accept you. Be yourself for no reason. Do what you love, not because, yes, it might make you money or it might get you, you know, an applause, but that's not the reason of why you do it. Do it for love. Do it for the, you know, the love that was already in your heart. You know, that's, if anything, that's the reason. So I just want to encourage people to always do that.
So I will encourage people to come in Lisbon in 14 October. Are we going to have a big place, Amir? I don't know, because we still have time.
I believe it's look, we would like to keep it intimate. We'd like to keep the seats limited because an intimate experience is always a more powerful experience. But I believe the room fits 100 or 200 people. But I think we're trying to keep it as intimate as
If
possible.
we kept on doing lives, I don't know what could happen.
Well, you know what? I really enjoyed this live, so you know, I'm up for another one if you want to do it at another stage.
A bigger place, Amir.
Yeah. Well, look, let's hear if anyone who's watched this, whether you're here now live or you've watched the recording, because I'll post this at the end of this and I'll post it on my Instagram. So any feedback from people who have watched it live or watched the recording, yeah, let us know, because then, you know, if we're getting the vibe that, you know, it's being well received, then maybe we'll, yeah.
That's very important, so that I always say that it's important to this connection with the public, because they are the ones that make us keep on doing this and
Yeah.
take the hours of our rest and a lot of work is behind your job and behind my job, of course.
Yeah.
So the people and the hearts that we see when they write to us, that's
Yes, and there's a few people now saying yes, do another one, do a bigger event, please.
yeah.
So that's good. Thank you for everyone's. You know, we want to be there. Fantastic. That's so great. Look
But
forward to connecting with you.
they are telling in Portuguese that you should come to Oporto, and here we have a good wine and a river and blah blah blah.
I heard that port was originated from a Porto,
Yes.
right?
So
is that right?
Oporto wine
Yeah.
is one of this region, and the grapes come from the sides of the Douro River.
Yeah.
And they were here squeezed here in Oporto and put in these big boxes, a wood, I don't know how do you call
like
it.
barrel?
Yes.
Barrels?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And these are made from a special wood. So that reaction with the grape wine, and are there for 1 to 10 to 20 to 4, some are 30 years in this.
Wow. Okay.
And
well,
when we are in the right point, by tasting, by analyzing, they are going to the bottle. So that's the story of Oporto wine.
Well, I think we should definitely do an evening tour.
The house, so you can come to Oporto.
Really? Great. We'll definitely do an evening talk, you and I, before the October 14th event. I hope that eventuates, and we'll try some port. That'll be great.
Definitely. But I have to say the truth that in Lisbon they are good receivers. So I also love Lisbon, but we have this fight between Oporto and Lisbon, although we are very close, because 2 hours and 3 hours way in a car, it's very quick. And so people from here can follow me, and we go in excursion to Lisbon to listen to you. Thank you very much.
So yeah, the Lisbon event is definitely locked in, but the Porto, we will add that to the week. So it's going to be a busy week.
Thank you, and thank for all those that have stayed with us and want to go to you, want to know you a little better. I really think it's a good start to download the app, do what you advise in the app, so that we can take off the first coat, and then follow your intuition and come to know Amir a little better.
Excellent.
I look
forward to it.
I am a good publicizer.
You're perfect. Amazing. Good thing. Fist bump. Thank you for your
sayings, and thank you for helping people to really come to this love situation that I call peace, that you can call joy or love, because I think that's the best way for you not to get diseases. That's my job. So
Yeah,
one way to be in a better, healthy state is really be here in this state. I
absolutely.
can
I just,
explain why in the next
yeah,
live.
in our next live.
That's science below that explanation when you say to people follow the intuition and be in a joyful state.
Yeah.
That explains why in that state you don't get disease so easy.
Isn't that interesting? When we went through the lockdowns and the pandemic, the biggest thing I was helping people do is to check in with themselves and stay connected. Because if you stay in a state of joy and love, the likelihood, it changes your vibration.
Correct.
I don't want to sound too woo-woo, but I was helping people, lots of coaching clients through that period to reconnect with themselves, to stay connected with themselves. And, it just changes your vibration. So whether, it doesn't mean you won't get COVID, but it changes how you process it, so.
Really, that state give you a better immune state.
Exactly.
Because they have made this scientific article where they prove that when you are in a joyful state, your hormones, little molecules running through your veins, are the ones that go to the brain to areas that make you feel better.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and gratitude plays a role in that as well, right? So if you're finding more things that you have rather than what you don't have, and appreciate that, that's going to get you on the journey, on the road to joy as well. So, and there's been lots of science around that and how, gratitude has changed the molecules in ice and how it forms, and it's yeah. So
the scientific explanation is all there around, but now let's leave it, right, Amir?
Okay. We'll talk more another time.
Thank you, Amir. Let's leave it on 14 October in Lisbon. Experience with Amir. How can we be better versions ourselves? Thank you, Amir.
Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.